Sean Babbitt, Nate Bear, Charlie Bagg, Les Bailey, Bob Bassett, Joe Bell, Andrea Benner, Katrina Benton, Bob Dickel, Annie and Jared Jurgensen. I nailed that. Chris Bowman, Bob Boulding, Dave Brown, Michael Burge, Paul Calloway, Kristen Cole. Brandy Croom, Kevin Cross, Brendan DeWan, Matt Dimmick, Nikki Dishnow, Michelle Dorner, Chris Drusdo, Ed Erickson.
Ed's here.
Jana Shakora, Mark Frenzel, Stephen Gist, Quake Hayden, Vicki Hudson, Jesse Knight.
Jesse!
Backboard.
Tyson Kroon, Ken Kachowski, Steve Larrett. No?
Not yet.
Paul Leishman, July Leslie, Questa Locke, Dustin Laura, Kylie Lucas, Mark Mandigo.
Mandigo, did we see? I saw him this morning. Nate Bear. We just saw Nate Bear.
Jill Colley, Christy Locke, Reed Moore, Michelle Nauman, Deanna Owen.
Newman.
No, I'm going to correct you every time. I enjoy. I look forward to this
Linda
all
Parker.
You have water in your hand.
John Parks, Amy Peltier, Brandy
You
Pettigrew,
want to take Sean's hat.
Lynn Peterson, Trina Pomeroy, Kathleen Pullman, Brittany Radford, Mia Reed, nailed it. Dustin Ritter, John Rodriguez, May Sprague, Stalka,
Oh, the floater.
Elizabeth,
Duck
Polkinetto,
March Madness, come on. Let's see how we're at this.
Jesse Tanner, Tina Tolbert, Brian Tollison, Jeremy Tompkins, Heather Torgerson, Jason Trout, Tara Van Orsdal, Dar Walters, Pat Wise, and Zollington.
Awesome. Okay, guys. 1, 2, 3.
You did awesome.
Before we have First American here today to do, if I can say it without choking on my gum. Okay, so happy April Fools. I was going to try and come up with some great practical joke, and I currently suck at that because I couldn't come up with anything. So before we have First American come up and do their presentation, I was running some numbers today, and I just want to give you guys a quick heads up as to where you finished out the first quarter. This is pretty incredible stuff. We track the production of the top 1,000 licensees. There's roughly 1,200 or so in the board, changes all the time. So of the top 10%, which would be about 100, you guys comprise 30%. We have 30 realtors in the top 10% of the Anchorage Board of Realtor, or the MLS. Number 1, above West Madden right now, it's pretty amazing, Ryan Tollefson. Number 4, Reed Moore. Number 6, Kevin Cross. Number 7, Chad Graham. Number 8, Chris Drusdo. That's 5 of the top 10 in the first quarter. So that's pretty impressive. Number 12, Heidi Lucas. Number 14, Bob Boulding. Number 16, Vicki Hudson. Number 17, Questa Locke. Number 19, Les Bailey. Which is really Nani and Lance because Les is pretty much retired. But the name is there. I always want to give them credit because they're like, slur it.
You're fine, Anita.
Number 19, Bailey. Number 21, Kristen Cole. 25, Dar Walden. 26, Karen Dreyer. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 of the top 30. 33, Dimmick. 35, Brandy Pennington. 37, Stalkup. 38, Clinton Peterson. 43, Joe Bell. 46, Steve Ritter. 47, Nate and Kylie. 53, Diet. 55, Sean Babbitt. 63, Brittany Radford. 70, Dustin Ritter. 73, Come Home Anchorage. 80, Dave Brown. 83, Stuart Smith. 85, Christina Gomez. 97, Mark Frenzel. And right at the 100 mark, Brandy Crew. Yay! So you guys, yes, Joe Bell's here, everyone. Thank you. So,
you need an April Fool's joke.
I'm trying to decide if my April Fool's story is entirely inappropriate to share publicly. I think it is. Okay, so before we get into announcements, I'm going to let First American come up and do their spiel for us, and then we'll get into training and we've got some other announcements and 6 personal perspectives and talk about tour. So Christine?
Yeah, thank you.
You guys,
I'm Christine Bangstead, First American title. We're going to go around the room and introduce ourselves, but first of all, I want to let you know what we're going to show you today, just briefly. It's called My FirstAm, something you can utilize on your smartphone to pull up data from the property that you're about to go look at, and property profiles. It has a lot of applications. Jeff will be going through it real quickly with you today, so I want to start off, Mr. Michael.
Hi, I'm Michael Rogers.
Mike Rogers. Everybody knows Mike.
Debbie Mihalich.
And I'm Jeff.
And Jeff will be giving us a 10 to 15 minute overview of My FirstAm.
Shorter if it looks like you're all catching it, so I'm guessing I'll come in at 8 minutes.
Okay.
And we would appreciate
These are realtors, you realize that.
Yeah, but your realtors with
Good, you grab that
beverages.
light.
You can kill the lights for me. I apologize for having my back to you. I normally like you to see what I'm doing, so I'll tell you what this is. First American, yeah, that's my gratuitous own company shop. That was on a beach in Hawaii, and I knew in the middle of winter I would like to look at that, and I did, so now it's my screensaver. First American developed this initially for use internally, because we, although you're realtors and lenders, and we're title and escrow, we do share a lot of overlay in what we like to look at as far as property data. This was actually built to work with First American title and escrow operations. But then somebody somewhere, probably in marketing, got the idea that if we turned it and made it customer facing, although you probably have tools that allow you to do things like this, if we let you use the tools that we use, A, if you're using it and you have a question on it, we're going to understand it because it's our product. B, it will get you more comfortable with looking at the way we look at title and escrow. And not that that's the way you should look at it, but it puts us on the same sheet of music. So we took the My FirstAm application that we were using internally, and thank goodness to Mr. Jobs, we have iOS, and so we now have apps. There's a desktop version, there's the iOS version, and there's also a Droid-supported version. They're all slightly different, but what I am told that a lot of the agents like to do is use the mobile app. Because when you're in the office, you have all the resources for Keller Williams. When you're on the road, you still have the majority of them. But let's say it's Friday night, you just had a nice dinner, you're heading home, and you get the call that you want, and somebody wants to have a listing appointment at 7 o'clock in the morning. And you're on vacation, and you don't have all your tools, but you're client-centered, so you want to do the right thing for the client. Well, what I'm going to show you, you may already have the ability to do, and that's fine. So just consider this another tool that we've shared with you. The app is right there. It's on the far right-hand side, third one down. You find that app by going into the iTunes store and just typing in 3 words, My FirstAm, all run together. The app itself is free. What happens is when you first initialize the app, it uses the low-level satellites that you use in the navigation portion of your phone to figure out where you're at. If you are in a big steel building, or you are underground, or you're on a train, or you're in a plane and you turn it on, it's going to take a while to figure out where it's at. Once it does that, it's just an additional tool that's available there. The application, if you want it and download it, it is at no charge. But if you want an account, just contact one of the marketers in the room and say, I'd like a FirstAm account. And they will give it to you at no charge. I'm going to show you, hold this up. The reason I'm doing the iPad version is A, I wear glasses, and it's easier than squinting at a phone. So let's do this. I'm going to come in here, and when you hit the little wagon wheels, it's trying to figure out where we're at right now. We're kind of blocked. So I'm going to move to try and get a better signal there. what I'm going to show you is this. I'm going to stop this and make it come and re-find itself. So when you hit the button, it's going to log in. You only have to put your password and ID in there once, and it will remember you. On the desktop version, you have to type it in, but it's designed to be a little bit faster for functionality. I would say right now, where we are in the room, even though it says 3 hours ago, it's finding us. Once it finds us, I will then go ahead and shoot through this. It uses, there we go. That's the building that we're in, and although that's interesting, it's going to find wherever you're at. You certainly don't want to do a profile on this building, but that little wagon wheel that opens up will tell you that. I'm going to say from an agent standpoint, this is what you might want to use. If you notice on the upper left-hand side, there's that little gold tab. That's where everything wonderful comes in this application. If you touch it and hit recent properties, I pulled up one as an example here, and the reason I did that is because it has a notice of default, which would be really interesting to you if you're about to take the listing, correct? So, any property that has a notice of default that's active, and that could be a notice of default, it could be a notice of trustee sale, or it could even be the trustee's deed upon sale. Anything that's active is going to show up immediately with a red bar there. That red bar just lets you know, hey, be aware, there's some active source of default information there. It gives you the fact that it's a residential property, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 2,300 square feet, 1977. Those are all a mirror of public records. So First American's job isn't, as we see it, to correct the public record, but to mirror that. Now, it doesn't mean we don't adjust things in title from an exception standpoint, but if it shows up here and it's wrong, that's what the public record reflects within the last 30 days. That might be good if you go to an older property and they walk inside and it's a 4.2, but when you look at the profile, it says 3.1.5. You might think that some work's been done there. The part that's good for you, if you look at that wagon wheel, the left-hand side that says profile, if you touch that, it's going to go into our database and pull the public records that we have available. Now that this knows where I'm at, the data should flow a little faster. It's going to load it up on there on the same kind of property data sheet that we use to build your profiles when you email customer service. They'll have the mailing address. I won't belabor it all, but as you read down through that, you can see what's there. The legal description, squares, bed, baths. Last full transfer date. Why might that be interesting? Well, there you go. It doesn't mean that they haven't had refis since then, but that's their last full transfer date. If you want a copy of that for the listing, touch the little blue hyperlink, and anything in this application that has a blue hyperlink has the underlying document available. So if you go there and Gail and Bob want to sign the information sheet, or people that are there that aren't on the deed, then you know you're ready for a next level conversation. That's going to show last full transfer. Another thing that will show on here that's relatively helpful, in the middle where it says history, that's going to show all the documents within the last 10 years that apply to the property, and it's going to list them in chronological order. I'm sorry I'm standing in front of you. If you look, there's our notice of trustee sale. Beneath that is a trustee's deed from Wells Fargo, and then the ownership information there. If you wanted to see a copy of the trustee's deed, it will pull it. If it's very recent, it won't show. But if it doesn't show it on there, then the document's not available for us to share with you. So that shows the information there. That's your page. Anything over 10 years, you can email our customer service department and please show data beyond 10 years. We show 10 years just because it's an economy of scale, and to float all this data and make it available fairly instantaneously would kind of limit what's on there. And again, these are kind of tools that we use that we've adapted for you. So what I'm going to do is show you now, if you can see the bottom, see that little gray line across the bottom and that little hump in the center, little speed bump? We added this for agents because we thought it was something you might like. If you're taking that listing and it's yours, and you know that you have a buyer looking for a good elementary school, if you touch that, the very bottom it's going to say school attendance zones. First American contracts with a company called Maplonics, and it goes in and takes the published school district it is, for the schools that are available in that area, and pulls it up and puts it in a color overlay. Elementary, junior high, and high school. And then it also puts under there the rankings for the last 3 years, if they're available for the school. Since it's searching there, I'm gonna let it do that. I'm gonna show you what that looks like. I came in this morning and did it a little earlier because I knew I'd be showing it. That's what it looks like. So you can see 7th and 8th grade there on the bottom, 9 through 12, and primary through 6th. And you really can't tell there, but there's a couple different shades of blue. And if you had clients that were looking, especially for elementaries, you can tell them, hey, you don't go north of West Island Boulevard, and here's the area you might want to search for 1st through 6th grade, if you're going to look at properties yourself. So you can kind of help them. Again, it's as only accurate as the data that's published and available to the public, but generally it works pretty well. Now it's telling us it's not there, but I know it is, so I'm going to ask it to do it again. Another thing this can do that works very nicely is, let me pull my property back up. Oh, there we go, I clicked out of it. If you go and close that wagon wheel, you can get pretty good visual acuity with this. But remember, this is for a title and escrow folk that you're using. So you can use Google Satellite or whatever. The satellites that we use for this aren't necessarily as fresh as the data you would have using Google, but it works for us because a lot of times the questions we will be helping you answer are what's the orientation of the property to the lot? Is there an easement? What's the backyard look like? That type of thing. But you're certainly free to use that. In addition to this, on that wagon wheel, what a lot of agents use is the More button. If you touch the More button and then hit the property report and then combined report, you can hit property profile, transaction history, tax, whatever you'd like. When it comes up with comps here, this is supported in all 50 states. So some states publish the sales price. Up here we do not, so you will have all the data for the home except the sales price. If you want this application, I think there's a little over 3,000 counties in the United States. Any county that publishes or makes their information available online, you will have access to. So that's available to you. The way a report looks, if you request it, is you email it to yourself. It takes a couple of minutes, and that's the property report for that particular property. It'll have all the same data we looked at before. That little blue hyperlink, just as a note, if it's in your report, it's not going to be active. So if you touch it, nothing's going to happen. It's just letting you know that if you're talking to your client and they say, can I have a copy of that? That blue ink tells you that there's a copy available. When I filled out the report, I asked for the most current vesting deed. I'm not walking you through that because it's really kind of self-explanatory. I'm just showing you what it looks like. It includes a snap of the transaction history, and then it includes a scalable map where the property is. Lastly, when you're looking at this, I'm going to come back out of there. When you look at a property, that's all well and good, but what if they said, hey, that's nice, but my neighbor lives next door and I really like that model. Could you show me houses that look just like that model? Well, if you open this up, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold my finger down on the house to the left until it recognizes that something's touching it, and it will go acquire the same data for that house that you just did for the one that I was showing you. And then it publishes that. It will do residential, it will do commercial, it will do unimproved lots. As long as there is an assessor's parcel number available, it will harvest the data and bring it into the screen for you and make it available. Another thing that works is you can, the little two gears up top, you can tell the machine you want it to think. You can search, and I put my name in there, in Anchorage for owner, and see, hey, you know, how many properties does Jeff own? So I'm going to put that in there. It will pull up any Quinn. So if you only know part of the last name, say it's Rackenstein, and you only know R-A-C-H, put in R-A-C-H, and it will pull up everything. So it's kind of intuitive, but then you'll have to filter when all the results come up. I'm going to tell it to go. Again, you'll have all 50 states and all the counties or parishes that publish in there. So that is my house. If you look there, the same data is available. You can download the same products. Anything is in there. If you happen to be with a client that says, hey, tell me what my title fee would be If we were going to use First American, just hit the calculate and you can fill that out. This is very abbreviated and I'm creeping over my 10 minutes, so I will stop. But in a nutshell, this is our property data application that we'd like to share with you if you like it. If you want a one-on-one, because it does an awful lot more than what we're showing you, any one of us in the room from First American are glad to help you with it. It's available at no charge. We support it. If you have questions, we'd love to answer them for you. Marketers, Deb, did I miss anything for the 10 minutes?
We do have some flyers up front here too, so that talk about both the desktop and the app on your iPhone or Android, so and the phone number, so you can always give our office a call, and then we can get you set up.
Yes,
Really
sir.
easy.
You said something about getting an account. What's the difference if you get an account?
Well, if you go online, you can certainly download the app for free because it's just available in the store. It'll look like that. You can download the app, but it's going to ask you for your password and sign on. You won't have that. So one of us has to make the account for you that you then enter into this app. Once
So is that the approval code? 'Cause that's what it's asking for.
Yes, exactly. Updates are made relatively frequently. The school zones is within the last 90 days. Shortly coming, we're going to have the lot line overlays. So it will be, in a sense, a poor man's as-built. You will see the orientation of the structure to the superimposed lot lines. We use it a lot in title. We just thought it's something that you might like to use as well.
Does it show as-built too? You said flat, that's all flat, but not as-built, right?
It won't show an as-built because this machine doesn't know which ones are copyrighted and which ones don't. And because there are so many, for the amount of data we're trying to shove through the internet at one time, if you want an as-built or you want CC&Rs for a property, you can email customer service and they will get them for you.
One other question. So your calculations with the title and escrow that you had up there for a house to purchase, put the sales price in, are you guys loading in anything with your title and escrow fees, because they're all pretty much the same with the escrow fees and the title? Is that part of the calculation, or is it just taxes?
No, actually there's two parts to that. It will only load in the title and escrow fees for what you're asking it, and you can get a basic quote, or you can say, give me an expanded quote, and then you can customize it with additional data. Say your seller was going to credit the buyer for a home warranty, you could put that in there and essentially print a mini estimated HUD for them.
Okay.
Again, I'd love to show you more, but I want to put it out there if you like it. We'd love to help you support with it. Feel free to call us, and we'll be glad to walk you through it. And thank you for your business, because
Do you
without
guys have
it,
any other
we
questions?
would not
though?
be here.
Yeah, what,
Go ahead.
We have a sign-up sheet going around. Oh, I'm sorry.
Where do you see, I mean, I think some awesome features. Where do you guys see this turning into, like, in the future? Like, you can, like, additional features you're looking at on this?
Well, I will answer that by what, because the people at First American, the prognostication department, they don't allow me in. Tell you, if I could borrow that ladder while I talk, and I'll get out of your hair. I would put everything with this online with what you now see with Netflix and streaming movies. So all of our data, since it's public data, and incidentally, First American makes more money every year by collecting and selling and publishing personal data. A lot of other title companies, when you bring an escrow in, if they have delinquent property taxes, a lot of that data is purchased in wholesale and rented out and refreshed. As more and more data is made available, it will be essentially streamed to our clients as fast as we have it. And for most places, it's on a rolling 30-day basis. In fact, more current if you actually call customer service and ask them. But where I see it is being streamed to you as fast as we have it. Because thankfully, I've never had an escrow where more data to all parties wasn't beneficial. It's the timing of the data that causes issues. Anything else as I do this upside down and facing the wrong way? With no glasses? There you go. Thank you for your time. I work in the title department. If you have any title questions, I'm glad to help you. Deb is our escrow operations for the state. She can help you. And our wonderful marketers can process orders faster than you can.
We have a sign-up sheet going around, so we will pick that up later today, and let us know if you want to be signed up to this. You will receive via your email a notification of your username, and then you get to create your password, and then that's on.
For our team, it was wonderful. Because everybody got to look around and Jeff kind of went through everything. in detail. And we walked out, I mean, it was very thorough, it wasn't long lasting, it was very thorough and to the point, and boy, it hit everything. And so almost all of our team was there using it.
Yeah, I have a few other teams as well. So also, if you need if you want a one-on-one, you know, let's just give us a call, and we can come in and go through it with you. Not a problem. But great application, great portable information.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
You guys are welcome to stick around. We're done right at noon, so feel free to stay if you desire. Okay, let's jump into announcements real quick. Come on in. And get you guys up to speed on what's going on. First of all, for Disciplines of Execution on April 9th from 12 to 4. If you haven't signed up for that and you want to attend, that's in Eagle River at the library. And we've got the Eventbrite. I think we're getting closer to full, so go ahead and get registered if you're planning on attending that.
Nope, you can.
Okay, help me remember. What all do we have going on? We have so much. Huh?
EA forum on the 10th, 1 to
The
2:30.
EA forum, if you've got teams with executive assistants or administrative assistants or any type of assistant, the executive assistant forum is April 10th. Is it 1 to 2:30? 1 to 2:30. Got it right. 1 to 2:30.
Lots of guests this quarter.
Oh, really? Who else coming in town?
Well, Mullen will be there, answering all your questions about home warranties. What do they really cover? You know, the benefits of them, the repairs and fees. We're also going to have Janice Peterson in. We've definitely got some changes and updates from titles. We'll also be hearing from residential mortgage on, you know, just continue to talk about how to get the information that's needed and in what timeline, what those time frames are, how just continuing to bulletproof those transactions. How can your support team
Support you best by keeping those transactions pulled together so that when you put a timeline out there, how can they deliver on that? And I believe Broker Butch will be there for some broker questions as well, at their request. So lots of great information. Of course, lunch is always there as well. And it's
We
right
don't
in here.
feed y'all don't show up to anything.
Exactly. And daggone those EAs, they are on time. They start at 1 o'clock. They're here at like 12:45. Like, wow.
Love it. What else do we have? Anything else that we need to get on the calendar for now?
Ignite's coming up.
Ignite, the new launch coaching Ignite program starts April 14th. So if you are involved in that, 66-day challenge is continuing to rock. We have people listing property all over the place right now, which was awesome. And today we start our pre-listing tour. So if anybody wasn't here last week or didn't hear me running around the halls all week telling people about it, I'll give you one more quick overview. You guys, Matt and I were looking at the numbers yesterday. As of yesterday, Keller Williams has about 25.86% of the market share, and don't quote me, I have to pull up the number. I sent it to you, I don't know if you remember, or if you had a chance to look at it yesterday. 25.86% of the market share. Your next closest competitor is at about 18% market share. So what we're trying to do is definitely capture the fact that you guys are getting the listings. We know that it's very difficult if you're working with buyers to find a property. And our goal with our property tour is to limit that to property that is not on the market with a non-MLS signed and approved, and get you guys first shot at some of the inventory. Here's my encouragement to you, be strategic and smart about this. You may not have a buyer today, and you might have one tomorrow. It's worth it to know the inventory that's not even on the market, because you could get a call this afternoon for a house that we just had on tour, and 2 of our own agents have already beat you to it, because that's how quickly it's moving. I mean, it's just crazy right now. So if you have a property to go on tour, it cannot be on the market, and it needs to be to Bekka before 10 a.m. on Monday. So we've got the packets today. I encourage everyone to get in the cars and go look at these properties. It's the absolute smartest, highest and best use of your time if you at all work with buyers. I mean, it just makes sense. So that's that. And then, so I'm going to be the bad guy for a minute. This is my list of Board of Realtor dues that haven't paid. If you're on this list, I will not call your name out in public. If you think you might be on this list, come see me. Guys, this is a non-negotiable. Has to be done. It has to be done like tomorrow. Get it done. Allison's got the list, and if you don't want to get her phone call that says, please go pay your realtor dues, I would suggest you go pay your realtor dues.
And there's a $50 a month